It's capital Sage, and now that we on the same page, I want to talk about today virtues and delve a little bit into what a virtue is and why virtues are cool. Because it might seem like, oh, virtuous is like not popular, or off to the side. That's just like some quiet thing that you do in the house by yourself. But I want to really give value to virtue, and I'm going to explain why virtue is actually what you're looking for, no matter what you think your goals are. It sounds like a big statement, but I'm going to explain it in a way that is very comprehensible. So, Capital Sage, welcome to Sages, my teaching platform. All right, let me get into it. I wrote some notes. So, I'm going to name a couple of virtues just to make sure we're on the same page, because we got to be on the same page. Patience is a virtue. Most of us have heard that before, right? Patience is a virtue. Other virtues are justice, courage, temperance, humility, kindness, sincerity, moderation, prudence, compassion, forgiveness, honesty, hope, respect, loyalty, assertiveness, wisdom. And these are all virtues. My definition, my personal capital Sage definition of a virtue is a immaterial possession of great value. This is not material. It's not something that you can touch. It's not something you could grab and put in your purse. It is immaterial, but it has so much value, and it gives you so much just value. So, what I do want to point out is that assertiveness is a virtue. Just to kind of paint the picture, that we might think that virtues are just something you do quietly, you're nice and kind quietly in a corner somewhere. But assertiveness is a virtue. So virtues are not just, being meek and kind. It's a lot of things that are of immaterial, great value that you can possess. And like I said, what we actually want is immaterial. And I'm going to break that down. Let me read my notes. The reason that these things are virtues is because they require selfless work to attain, but the reward is yours. So you're patient in situations where you don't quite understand how to deal with it. So you have to be patient. So that's kind of selfless, because it's not making you comfortable, right? You are courageous about fears that you haven't conquered yet. So that's another selfless thing. You're uncomfortable because you have to be courageous, because you're not already over the thing. So you have to summon up courage, which is selfless. That makes sense. I know it does. Like, it sounds kind of like, is that selfless? But it does make sense. I know it does. What's the next one? You're assertive about things that you haven't conquered yet. You have to be assertive to gain these things. So it's not things that's making you comfortable. It's not things that's necessarily just bringing you joy. It's like you have to put something on the line that's selfless, and then you get this immaterial value back. That's how I define a virtue, just in a layman's term, to convey the message. It might not be the definition, but that's capital Sage. Okay? So this is why virtues are selfless, because it's based on attaining a future goal, and you have to put something on the line like hope and trust, which are also virtues. Virtues are the key to happiness. I came up with this, and let me explain it. Behind every desire that you have, there is an immaterial thing that you're seeking. It's actually an immaterial reward. Like, whether you want success, a bunch of money, certain house, certain car, certain partner, whatever else you might want, if you want to be a philanthropist, all of these are based on immaterial desires. So you might strive for validation. That's immaterial. You might strive for security. You might strive for purpose. You might strive for achievement. All of these things are immaterial, but you try to get them through material things because we live in a material world. So you actually want validation, but you get a certain car and a certain amount of money or whatever to get the validation that you seek. This brings me back to virtues. Virtues are immaterial things of great value. What you actually want when you're seeking material things is immaterial things. Virtues are probably the highest value immaterial things. You rock with me? You like how I did that? I brought that right back together. Virtues are probably the highest value immaterial things. Where you might want security and all these things, certain virtues that you have might make you not even fiend for security because you feel so secure through a certain virtue that you might have chosen. These are just ideas, but I do want to paint the picture that what you want from material things, I'm going to say, is always an immaterial goal, like an emotion or a state of being or a vibration or something like that. All the things that you want from material things are immaterial. The reason that I'm talking about virtues today is because virtues are the greatest value immaterial things. So, get some virtues in your life. It makes you feel better. It makes everything around you better. And it makes it easier or makes it better for people who come after you. So virtues help everybody. And that's why I'm talking about them. But really, I want to drive home that virtues make you happy. Virtues are what you probably are actually looking for when you get material things and when you have material goals. So pay attention. Security, purpose, community, etc. All of these are immaterial, and that's what the basis of a lot of the things that we're looking for when we buy things or want to get material things. God made it to where we can only achieve happiness through virtues. If you listen, we think that we're going to get happiness from all the material things that we want, and that's why we want them. But many rich people will tell you that money does not bring happiness. And money will buy you pretty much any material thing that you want. Am I right? So if money doesn't buy happiness, it's because happiness lies in virtue, because happiness is immaterial. You can't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness. What you have to do is make yourself happy. The reason that virtues and happiness go hand in hand is because you have to make yourself happy, just like you have to make yourself patient, just like you have to make yourself courageous, just like you have to make yourself sincere, just like you have to make yourself virtuous, just like you got to make yourself loyal. It's something about the great things in life. You can't buy them. You can't cheat them. You have to give something selfless. You have to overcome something to get these things. There's no cheating into happiness. You have to go through what virtues teach. So let's figure that out real quick. Virtues teach you that the power is within you. Where if you go out and try to get all these material things, try to get money and things like that, it makes it seem like the power is in something else. But the power is in you, and that's what virtues teach you. That's why virtues are very important and very powerful, and it's not just sitting in the closet somewhere being meek and mild. Virtue is a power, and it's immaterial, and everything that you desire really comes from an immaterial need or something like that. And virtues are the greatest value immaterial possessions. They're very pure, they're very harmonious. It's like the things that God chooses, it's the best choice. It's super harmonious. It fits your true vibration. It nourishes you. It nourishes your environment. It nourishes the future and the past. The way that God set things up is just perfect. So that's why virtues and happiness goes together. If you know what I'm talking about. Any rich person will tell you money does not buy happiness because happiness is immaterial. My point is that everything that you want materially is because you think it'll make you happy. I'm telling you, to be happy, you should pick a virtue and study it. Choose a virtue and study it. Spend some time on it. This doesn't mean that you're going to be meek and mild. This just means that pick a virtue that's interesting to you and study it and start to incorporate it in your life. I promise you it will lead you to happiness. Capital Sage. We're on the same page. Thank you for attending Sages. That was a bar. Bye-bye.